Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Unqualified Filmbros podcast, -1, minus the host. I am the temporary host, Ben. This is Max and Declan. You guys.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, guys.
Same people.
We read your criticisms, and so we decided to get rid of George for this episode.
George is off doing something, probably screaming somewhere. But we are covering the new SCREA movie, which I thought was, I was pleasantly surprised. I'm a big fan of Wes Craven. I'm a big fan of the original SCREA movies. And I thought it was probably one of, if not the best sequel that had been done for the series. It's very impressive considering Wes Craven is no longer with us. So really great job keeping to the sort of meta horror commentary sort of identity of the films. Made something original out of it. Each of the SCREA movies, they have to reinvent the killers in some way. And I thought this one was probably one of the best. And it also tied into, like, obviously we had the Halloween requel, the Halloween Kills sequel of the requel. There have been multiple of those types of, and Candyman, also a requel. Many horror movies are doing that. And so it was only appropriate that Scream, the meta commentary that it is, made a movie about that, essentially. They tied everything back. What you guys think about this movie?
Honestly, yeah, I've only gotten into the Scream films semi recently. Like I watched all of them over the summer, I would say, like last summer and all that. So like where they rank is still a bit like gray in my head. So it's difficult to say where this one is exactly. But that being said, it's definitely, I would say, in the upper half of it. I feel like this was it was made like from a place of passion from all involved, like everyone was doing their best to, like, live up to the legacy of Wes Craven and Scream, and like cared about it. And so I think they succeeded. I think they did, Scream 4, it was talking about film remakes and the trend there. This one is talking about Scream, about film requels and that trend, and I think it was a success. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad I was able to see it. And
so a lot of that is like new information for me. So for those of you watching, I hadn't seen any of the Scream movies before watching this one, and I didn't even watch the original one. I just didn't have time. But I knew a little bit about how it was kind of a meta commentary on like the horror genre and in general the franchise, but I had no idea how much it was coming into the movie. And I guess I still don't really know, because I haven't seen the other 4 movies. But I think it was a really interesting take on something that could have just been a gore fest, where it's really easy to devolve into just let's think of as many creative ways to kill people as possible, and then I'd be like, okay, well, now you're just doing Saw. And I never really felt that way, right? Like, I think that there was a real story with this film, and there was, I think you're right, Declan, there was clearly some passion behind the creators and the actors that were in the film. I did see reading afterwards that it might have been Courtney Cox, I think, that said she wanted to, with the producers and directors, make a new one, and the directors were open to doing it as well. And so, it'd be interesting to see how they take that from, I guess, what you said, the requel, into what is kind of the next evolution of making fun of the horror genre.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting, like what you said, Scream 4 is making fun of remakes. They spent, it's almost been like a decade, like they said in the movie, And there was also a decade between like Scream 3 and Scream 4.
Yeah.
Back in the 2010s, 2011s, you had all these remakes going on. There's the Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
Oh,
There was the Halloween remake. There was the Rob Zombie one.
yeah.
I guess that was a little earlier, but and then there was also the Friday the 13th remake. There were a billion of them. I think it's really interesting that you bring back such a big franchise, but when it actually makes sense for the film. If you wait that long, it would be the same sort of horror movies. You
I
could
mean, that
make fun
seems kind of baked into what the franchise is. I mean, I might
Yeah,
be
I mean,
wrong, but
the
that
original Scream, like you were saying, it was meant to make fun of the horror movies and slashers that had pretty much just evolved into straight kills, especially later like Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, really unoriginal and really just full of gore. And Nightmare on Elm Street, you know, Wes Craven, it's pretty interesting that he decides to make a movie essentially making fun of the movies that he made for a lot of his life. And it sort of went from there, like Scream 2, that's where they start the stab movies. That's basically just Scream, but in their universe. And then I kind of forget what happens with the third one.
Yeah, that's the one where they're on the film set, but it's
yeah.
Yeah.
That one was a little more there were lots of like video cameras and stuff. It was
No, the original screenwriter and the second main voice behind Scream, Kevin Williamson, he wasn't able to write the script for Scream 3, and so many people feel, including myself, Scream 3 lost that like sort of special touch that
Scream 3 was my least favorite, which is why I don't remember it. I don't really watch it often. I watch Scream 1, Scream 2 all the time. Scream 4 also is really interesting. It takes the victim, the Sidney Prescott role, which is played by what's her name?
Emma Roberts.
Yeah, Emma Roberts, and she's the killer.
Also, spoilers for all Scream films.
These are all spoilers. The one thing I will say that the fifth movie did, which I wasn't expecting, and kind of hurt, but also made a lot of sense, is they killed Dewey. There hadn't been a significant death from the main cast since the second one. Randy died in like the middle or like early middle of that movie, and then they never killed off any of the others because all that's left is Sidney, Dewey, Gale. I'm pretty sure that's it.
It was kind of it was the reason for that, I feel honestly, was just a reaction to, even though it was good in the movie, the reaction to everyone realizing that killing Randy was just a mistake, kind of, given how important his character was to the series and its identity and all that.
And you definitely see the effects of that in the third one.
So like without a doubt,
he's the core guy. You know, he knows all the movies, and he knows the rules.
But in and of itself, kind of making fun of the horror genre. Doing the dumb thing when it's very clear, like, you shouldn't do that, or like, don't go into the boarded up shed. It's like the Geico commercial. Where they do the exact same thing.
Killing off Dewey is really interesting because in the previous Scream movies, I think it was just 1 and 2, maybe 3 too. Dewey gets stabbed like every single movie, like brutally. Every time you're like, oh, he's dead. And he's still alive. And so killing him off was probably the most shocking thing you could do. Killing Sidney.
Okay.
That's why it says he got like 9 stabs, like scar tissue, nerve damage, whatever. Actually, in the second movie, he gets stabbed in the exact same spot, and they say the scar tissue from the previous movie's stab saved his life. He just stabbed the guy.
Like, the dude could not stop getting stabbed.
I was like, there's no way he can die. This guy's immortal.
But then
fair enough, they surprised me.
It's an honor, or whatever Ghostface says. But it's like, Oh man, it was a good, like, it was a worthy send off to the character, and it sort of had to be done, but it was still like, you know, it's like it was tragic to see him go, you know.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I could sort of see it coming, but I really didn't expect it. Just
Yeah.
because he never died.
I also got to give credit where it's due in terms of seeing it coming and all that. I feel like in general, the film's cleverness was very well done. Like having like multiple characters be sort of like um invoking Randy in many scenes by how knowledgeable they all are of
Yeah.
horror films, and like it could have been obnoxious having people go like, oh, don't go alone, or it's like are you the killer, you know, and all that, like accusing one another. It could have been poorly done, but I feel like the film managed to toe the line perfectly, where it remained like funny the entire time that people were like questioning each other's motives and all that. But I say all that to then say that having having Richie the boyfriend turn out to be the killer, I felt like was kind of done perfectly, because it was like sort of obvious, but that almost made you think it couldn't have been him.
Well, that's even like that's kind of a genius thing that they did, right? They even point to it in the beginning. They're like, "Hey, did you look at the love interest?" And everyone's looking at him like, "Hey, how long have you known this guy?" But I think it's also Jack Quaid acted it really well. Where he's like,
yes,
boyish, you know, charm, and you know, he's kind of like nervous. He doesn't want to die, and you really don't expect him to be a murderer at all, even if he is like the most suspicious in terms of his circumstances.
And also again, like, just like what he also, I will be honest, what he says at the end when him and Jack Quaid and oh gosh, I'm blanking on the actress's name. She's a great actress. I want to see. I genuinely feel bad. Leave a comment in below who the actress
played Sam
is. Who
played Sam?
Not Sam. Sam. Who played the other killer?
I don't remember.
Amber.
Amber. But so nonetheless, I love their motivation of like being so distraught with the past Screen film, and meeting on Reddit and feeling that they have to set things right by like creating more content for the thing. Like, it's so deranged, but like in an entertaining way.
I always the whole time they were talking about this idea, I kept thinking back not to the original Scream, but Scream 2.
Mm.
When the killer's motivation, one of the killers is Billy Loomis's mother, angry and wants to kill Sidney. But the other killer is this guy
Mickey.
played by Timothy Olyphant. Mickey. And he's trying to kill these people. You know, he's a psychopath. But he's like, we're gonna blame the movies because Stabbing has come out. And it kind of went full circle, where it is now you can blame the movies, can't you? Because the movies literally, they were so passionate about the movies that they started killing people.
and even just like her like moment, like when Sidney and Gail had a gun on Amber, and she turns on I was radicalized by and then instantly turns on them, and then instantly turns back and claims innocence. Again, it was a unique moment for a revealed Ghostface killer to do, but it was so kind of hilarious and well done.
I kept thinking of she very much invoked like Stu. Stu. I mean, that was originally Stu Macher's house. And also like the way that like Stu gets stabbed, he was like, oh, I feel a little woozy. He's just like He's
Mhm.
making excuses, and then yeah, my favorite is like when Sydney is like, "We called the cops." He's like, "Did you really call the cops? Oh, my mom's gonna kill me."
Yeah, the original.
You know, that sort of like whiny, like, "I didn't mean to do it."
That was honestly a reason partially why I was like almost thinking it would Stu returning would be a plot point in this film. Like I'll admit I was talking to them previously. One of my few complaints about the film is that it didn't include the scene in my head that I invented before seeing it and had no basis to believe it would actually be there. Where like there's basically a scene where it's like oh, but we couldn't just leave it at 2. We have to have a third one. And then it cuts to like, Booch walking in, and then Stu, played by Matthew Lillard with like a scar or something, walks in and he's like, "Remember me, Sydney? Remember when I killed your friend?" And all that. And like it would have been an amazing scene. And the fact that the screenwriters and directors didn't take my idea that I invented in my head and didn't tell anyone about. Big mistake and all that, big
Now,
mistake.
thinking about killers and just
Mhm.
killers getting shot, like, I think Stu got shot. Right? I know Billy Loomis got shot like a billion times.
Billy Loomis got shot.
Did Stu
Stu
just
was
like?
stabbed, but I
Yeah,
don't think he
that's-
ever got like shot.
Oh yeah, he just got stabbed by Billy, and then he just passed out or whatever, blown out.
Yeah.
Um,
He had the TV thrown on him, I think.
oh yeah, that's it.
Like he got like yeah.
So that scene at the hospital where they go in, this is where Dewey eventually dies. So he shoots Ghostface like, I don't know, 4 times
Mhm.
at least in the chest. What are they wearing? Kevlar or something?
It must be.
Amber shows up after that, and she's just like, "You don't have bullet wounds."
No,
You got bullet wounds.
I do got to give credit to the filmmakers. I like feel like the moment when they like I was literally like in my seat thinking like, "Oh my God, shoot him in the head, just shoot him in the head." And then like I was thinking that it's like shoot him in the head, and then Dewey says like, "Wait, I gotta shoot him in the head."
Yep.
In the head. Like,
So what is the story behind that, right? Like I know in a lot of
Because in
slasher
a
and
lot-
horror films you can't kill the bad guy by normal
Mm.
means. So I mean, what is it about Ghostface?
It is a bulletproof vest. Like it's
Okay.
just supposed to be a bulletproof vest. There isn't anything special per se, but of course, like taking 4 bullets, even in a bulletproof vest, isn't like doesn't then like just getting out is.
If it's Amber, right? Amber was like a tiny girl. She's
Yeah.
like, Kevlar? That's heavy.
Yeah.
How's she moving so fast?
Yeah.
Again, we're not meant to like actually criticize that, but that was the thing that I was thinking of at the reveal. It's like somebody should have bullet wounds or something here, right?
Yeah. No.
Or at least
So speaking
wincing because of
of-
like bruised ribs or something.
Yeah, like
that.
Though speaking of bruises and all that, I got to give credit where it's due. The scene of I believe her name is Jenna Ortega, the actress who plays Tara, her Sam's younger sister. She did a great job throughout the entire film, and like the scene of her struggling in the wheelchair was like, holy shit, that was insanely well done, but also like you just like feel like how painful it was, and to then have Ghostface show up, it was very well done, but also creepy as hell.
Yeah.
My gosh, yeah. I think the one thing that sort of felt a bit off isn't the right word, but like felt a bit strange. I do feel like the revelation that Sam is Billy Loomis's daughter felt forced isn't the right word. It felt like the movie was trying to make fun of like distant character dynamics, but also just having distant character dynamics, making fun of the fact that it's like, oh, we got to bring in legacy characters, but also, oh, hey, we're bringing in the legacy character of Billy Loomis's daughter, you know, and all. It's a.
I think it worked in the horror movie sense, especially given Nightmare on Elm Street is based on generations, like a lot of, like they say, horror movies. But like everyone is the son or daughter of like somebody who was involved in killing Freddy.
True.
Similarly, like everyone in this movie, even if they're like a random offshoot, like Wes, who is named for Wes Craven, they all like are related in some way. You know, Randy is
the uncle of the twins.
Yeah, the uncle of the twins. And they're living in, you know, Amber's living in Stu Macher's house. So I guess, I mean, it kind of made sense, like tying them in. I didn't mind it.
No, yeah. I think it was still good. I think it was just like it felt like I don't even know. It was interesting that they included it. It was also cool seeing Skeet Ulrich again, who played Billy Loomis in the original. Like, I wasn't expecting him to return.
Yeah, how did he do that? Because he didn't look old
I
at all.
think there was de-aging going on. I think, from what I understand, there was like a de-aging effect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was fun to see it. I thought it was nice. You know, they made these girls look. Obviously, Sydney's always a final girl. She can always fight back. But it was nice to have two final girls in a way, with Tara and Sam, who both are equally like able to beat the killers in some ways. I thought it was fun. Definitely a better satire than Resurrections. I mean, the entire script franchise is essentially what Resurrections tried to do.
Yeah.
But not successfully.
It's an interesting comparison, Resurrections and Scream 5.
Yeah, I mean,
they're both kind of doing. They're both, even though you wouldn't think about it, both are actually sort of doing very similar things.
Exactly.
Things, you know, like attempting to parody / revive a arguably quintessentially 90s franchise. And Matrix maybe not so much, but like still like a franchise associated with past decades and yeah, it's a very interesting, a very similar and very interesting endeavor.
Yeah, even the way that like in the Resurrections they always are like it always ties back to the past and whatever. Same way they do it here, but like I think they take it a little too seriously in Resurrection. For some parts it's satire and some parts everyone's way too serious. There's a level tone to the Scream movies where you never feel like something is too ridiculous. They're all pretty ridiculous, but they all are scary movies too.
Yeah.
And
Scream 3 was the only one I think that struggled a bit sometimes.
Resurrections, I think, is a little bit behind. You know, they're on the requels on this in this movie. Remakes, as he said, with Scream 4, so they're like a decade late.
It was like I'll just very quickly say it was fascinating. Like when I first heard about them making Scream 5, to think that now Scream 4 is like old isn't the right word, but like so in the past that there's now another Scream movie that could be made. Because like when it came out, even though I hadn't seen it, Scream 4 was like the new return to this franchise after being many years of not having made a film. You know, it's like we're doing another return after the last return. You know, it was interesting. But again, I think this was a return that turned out to have like a really good and solid core idea behind it, and possibly a little bit in contrast to Matrix Resurrections, wasn't made at gunpoint by directors who made
it's a project of love, not of fear.
Yeah, not out of like a desire, not out of a threat to the art that you've created in the past. You know.
Yeah.
Our parent company, Warner Brothers, is.
Yeah. And I'm just again like credit to them for doing such a good job with this movie because even if they're passion, I mean, capturing the same like spirit of Wes Craven is tough. That's a horror legend.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um,
I haven't seen Ready or Not yet, but I mean I've heard great things about it. I feel like after seeing this movie, it's like I might have to check that out. Like,
yeah, Ready or Not was actually a pretty fun one. Similar sort of elements of satire there, but not Scream satire, but there is satire. And also, I thought it was funny that they kept mentioning all of the what they called elevated horror, you know, real horror movies. It was kind of funny in the same way, like making fun of the fact that people don't believe slashers can have any substance to them anymore.
That made me think of like the Conjuring films, and how they kind of built a universe out of telling all these stories, focused around the central group of characters, and then branching out and telling different stories, and then somehow connecting them to like these other crazy stories, or even, you know, different characters, and doing spinoffs like they did with Annabelle. And I don't know, Ben, you were talking earlier about Stab, the series. Is that like, what does that do? Is it taking place within the universe of the Scream movies?
That is the Scream 1 essentially.
Okay.
And they replaced everyone. There's great scenes. You should watch the first two. And the second one, they've got Billy Loomis being played by Luke Wilson. I think Tori Spelling is like Sidney Prescott.
Okay.
I went there, and Luke Wilson's like, hey, just like being Luke Wilson the whole time. I mean, it's fantastic. It kind of reminds me of actually, I wonder who did it first with the Austin Powers thing, where they had Tom Cruise as Austin Powers.
Yes, in the third one, yeah. I think Austin Powers came later. But
I don't know. There's a special place for Scream 2 just because of that movie. And you also have Jerry O'Connell and Timothy Olyphant in the movie, which is fun.
Great.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, other than Scream 3, they've always done a great job.
Oh yeah.
And Scream 3 isn't even that bad. Like,
no, it is. It's just like you know, compared to the other ones, kind of weaker. It's still worth watching, you know, and still.
I always find it funny that Scary Movie came out like shortly after Scream 1. I think in like in the early 2000s or something, a little bit later. But I always think Scream is a horror movie, but it's a better satire than Scary Movie by far.
Yeah, I mean, I think Scary Movie kind of just falls into that. We can have all the tropes, but then let's also make really juvenile jokes about all this stuff, like all the sex jokes that they'll make in Scary Movie because of all the sex that happens in horror movies stereotypically. And it's like, okay, I get it, but nothing's actually happening in this movie.
I wanted to bring a moment from the film. There was a great moment with what's her name, Mindy Meeks, when she's on the couch. She's watching the original Stab movie. The original Scream movie, Randy is watching the original Halloween. So he's watching Halloween, saying, "Look behind you." Meanwhile, in Stab, the ghost face is right behind him. Meanwhile, in Scream 5, Ghostface is right behind Mindy. Really meta stuff, and I thought it was fantastic.
It was like
in the same house, same like everything, same couch almost. I think.
Like it shouldn't have worked as well as it did.
Yeah, it really worked well.
Like it only could have happened in Scream, and it shouldn't have been as sort of hilarious as it was, but it was.
Just so good.
And, okay, another moment very close to that one that I also loved. It was messed up, but it was still hilarious. It was like, are you the killer? No, you're the killer. No, you're the killer. Okay. Yes, like, welcome back 3. Like it was another just great like moment kind of like, oh shit, this
Also,
is
she was a great red herring. And she acted all creepy towards Mindy, Liv.
mhm.
And then she just died.
Yeah, it's like kind of brilliant, like just to like have like a complete it worked like kind of like I think somebody even pointed out, oh, she has red hair for a lot of the movie, you know. It's like that, well done filmmakers. Well done with that. And
I mean, there were lots of
mhm.
I think they put the trail off well, and that like Amber didn't seem like that much of a threat. She was never the one acting weird or scary, and also she was the one being threatened in the beginning, so you sort of like see her as harmless. Everyone else has better motives, like the way the movie portrays it. In fact, I guess they do have better motive. I mean, her motive was terrible, but it was her motive.
Yeah.
You know, make a better horror movie. And Richie also was sort of innocuous. You know, you really didn't expect these people. In the original movie, Billy is the creep. Like most of these people, you're like, okay, I can see that, but then you throw off the trail. In this one, the killers don't act creepy at all. They don't act weird. They act like most normal people in the movie. Almost.
Yeah. It's like again, so it was great to have him say when he's revealed, it's like disappointing, isn't it, or something like that. It's like thinking to the audience about we're all like, oh, Richie's a cool guy and all that. He's a psycho killer, and you know
really,
another.
You don't expect it. Well, I mean, just the way he acts. Like most of the time, I see Jack Quaid, he acts like that, but he just seems so harmless.
Yeah, and you know another sort of like moment that like I enjoyed was like the opening scene. I felt like in general was very good, but I feel like especially the phone call was like surprise. It was another like great moment and showing how much the filmmakers cared, kind of, or like in thought put into it. I love how it's obviously Ghostface voice, but like how he starts off the calls almost sounding normal, and so it's sort of, you know, it's Ghostface, but you understand why the character stays on the call and like isn't freaked out by someone seemingly being Ghostface and all that.
Actually, speaking of the call, there was the first time that I realized that Richie was the killer. I don't know if you noticed this. Sydney, you know, is shooting everywhere. She's on the phone. And right before she shoots, you can hear him like still in the Ghostface trains or a voice changer. And he's like, wait. And then she shoots him in the leg. But you can hear it if you like watch it again or something. You can hear like a subtle like wait.
Ooh. Okay, that's good. Okay, that's clever.
He probably realized she was shooting everywhere, and he was probably trying to like keep her on the phone and also say wait as Richie. But it comes through like as both almost. That was pretty smart, I think.
Oh yeah.
You know, great setup. Yeah, I can't say. I think. I mean, that's pretty much it. It's a great movie. I think everyone should go see it. Everyone should probably go see the first 2 Screams too.
Yeah. I think Scream is a good franchise. I feel almost, as someone who's not normally a horror person, you know, I feel like Scream is a good like franchise because it's like they're all so well made and have like funny moments in them, so it doesn't feel like it still remains like fun the whole way through. It doesn't feel like overly like, it never feels like too much kind of for me.
I think
Yeah.
it's the way the characters are written too. Like in every
Exactly.
Scream movie, they're not written to be really real people other than like Sydney and Gail and
Hmm.
Billy. Most of them are like caricatures, you know, the type of people that you would find in horror movies, but like
Mhm.
a little bit overblown almost, you know, exaggerated. The killers, the victims, everyone is a little ridiculous in these movies. So
Mhm.
you don't really feel as bad when someone die.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just like it's just so ridiculous.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it too. I mean, I think I probably should go see the other ones, just so that I get a little bit more of that meta commentary that we've been talking about and sort of like where it's coming from. I think that would definitely help my perception of the film, which is already pretty positive. So I'm not sure how much it would change, but yeah, I enjoyed it.
Mhm.
So what is it in? It's in theaters, probably coming to streaming at some point,
Yeah,
but
Check it out when
yeah, definitely go
you
check it
can.
out.